Oi, oi. Let's get Saturday done. So then all the Aintree tips, selections, etc. are up. 145 handicap hurdle. There's no prices that have been put up on this one that I can see as of yet, but there's a couple of names that I will definitely be backing for the sake of it. I love the Cobb. First time blinking, I'm happy with that. I still think there's weight off his mark, so he'll do for me. And I also like the way you're thinking. I touched on him for Cheltenham. I thought he ran all right in the pipe, to be honest with you. And again, I still think he's got mileage off his mark. The pair of them are 8-year-olds. I think that's okay for a race like this. And trip track, everything all suits. So I'll be playing the pair against the field in there. Won't really be looking any further in depth in that than what I've said. Then we've got the Betway Mersey Novices Hurdle, the 2.5 miler. Pretty tidy looking race, to be honest with you. Relatively competitive. I think 3 Stripe Life run at Cheltenham deserves him to be favourite in the race. I thought that was a good enough run behind Sir Gerhard. Walking on air for Nicky Henderson obviously was a big talking horse. I'm just not sold. But it's one of those where I'm just not sold enough that I wouldn't want to be having lumps of money against him, but I also probably wouldn't want to be backing him. So long and the short of it is I will probably have a bit on 3 Stripe Life, not chunks of cash, but I do think he's got a favourite chance. And although it is a relatively deep grade 1, I think he's probably a bit too big a price. Then in the Maghall Novices Chase, theme of the season, I've been taking on Edward Stone. Very impressive at Cheltenham, can't argue with what he's done, and obviously should be taking all the beating here. I will be back in third time lucky though. It's 5-1-ish. I'll see what I can get with if there's any extended place or anything like that. I'll have a look and see how I can play the market. But I just don't trust that run for third time lucky behind Edward Stone after he'd had that overreach where he beat Do Your Job, and I know he got battered by him at Sandown. Like there's a lot to worry about, isn't there? Also with third time lucky, he was beaten in the at the festival, Aintree Festival last year, so not necessarily all of it suits. So it's probably more of an idiot bet. So I wouldn't be suggesting this as a follow-up-y thing in there. Maybe just for a look in the race, I'll give him a little bit of a small stake. But sooner Edward Stone's novice season's over, the better. Once he gets an open company, he'll get exposed. Then the Liverpool Hurdle, I like Florin Porter and Time Hill was the 2 that I said for Cheltenham. I think Florin Porter could win again or should win again. I actually do think that this track will suit him more than Cheltenham would. I don't think he's ever going to go and win by miles. It was a really good ride, wasn't it, at Cheltenham? But I think he is the one to be on. Molly Ollie's Wishes is a horse that I've talked about loads of times throughout the season. I would have liked to have seen her run at Cheltenham, but I don't know. This track, I think, will be okay for her. She's a mega price, so I will probably be having a look at her in the place market again, see if I can get something extended. There are only 9 runners in there. We might be able to get some money on the 4 places on the exchange. But Florin Porter for the win, and then, like I said, I might be looking at Molly Oddy Wishes because I think she can run to high 150s with her weight allowance, so that'll be the one. Then the 415, which is the mild way, Betway handicap chase. Shamblu will win. I think the run at Cheltenham, where they ran him in the Ryanair, if they'd have run him in any handicap, which what people were begging for, weren't they? He would have been found out in the fact that he was probably lacking fitness, but he probably would have run so close in that handicap that they would have blown the cover and all those sort of things. I get that the Charlie Hall race form doesn't massively stack up, and I get the fact that he was trounced by Chantry House last year, which again maybe doesn't look so fantastic now, but he's better than 148. I think it's there for everyone to see. Nothing more to add to that race, really. I'm tipping up a favourite in a big runner handicap like it's poor. There probably has to be some value in behind. I just don't want to start delving into it and trying to find something that potentially could be the value line in, and then talk myself off of back in Shamblu. I mean, I've already had a couple of good on Shamblu. Don't think I'll have too much more on. The one that probably does look the obvious one to back at a bit of a price would be Espoir de Rome. He was going to give Chantry House a proper run in that race last year when he fell, and obviously would have been ahead of Shamblu. You've got to give him £7, so that's a bit of a difference. But I feel like Espoir de Rome, not been so good this season, but probably would be the one at a bigger price that's worth a mention. Maybe I'll have a small little stake saver on that. Grand National, I feel really bad because these have been pledged as Grand National tips every single video title, haven't they? But I don't have a strong fancy in the Grand National. I can never really be bothered to get stuck into it unless there's a horse that I've looked at from a long time out that I've had sort of lined up for, or I've thought that could go particularly well. I've had a few small bets on a few horses, nothing of real major note. Noble Yates, Schoolboy Hours, good old Death Duty, Run Wild Fred, Cloth Cap just for the sake that he's been so bad, hasn't he? And I mean, I probably will end up doing some of that Bet365 offer on Eclair Surf because everyone's rimming that one, aren't they? But good luck with whatever you fancy in there because I don't really have a clue in the National. Then in the bump up, really decent race to be fair with you. We've got Henry II for Paul Nicholls. Harry Cobden is a horse that I think looks like he could be pretty good. And Paul Nicholls does do fairly well with the bumper horses that he sends to Aintree. We've got the Houlon Batatour de Che, the Reekie horse that ran in the bumper. Got a hood on this time. Was poor at Cheltenham. There was some money for it because they said the ground was going to suit, but not so sure about that one. And then Raf Gul Boy, another Willie Mullins one that Patrick's on. So Patrick will get first choice, despite the fact that you don't have to be an amateur to ride in these particular races. I think that Raf Gul Boy looks fairly good. Sullivan Bloodstock, or O'Sullivan's got back into it, into the game and starting to get a few more horses. And I think this is one that looks like he could be quite a nice prospect. So basically Willie's in the bumper in it. But I do think Henry II for Paul Nicholls, Harry Cobden looks like a smart type. They're all going to be very well found in the market. I don't know if I'll be able to actually have a bet on any of them. But that would wrap up my views quickly for the Saturday. I am sharing on Twitter some racing tips. So there'll be ones that I'm definitely backing in there. So things can obviously change with weather or whatever. So you might get a bit more of an up-to-date view on there. So just make sure you follow me on Twitter at Cheltenham Facebook or FB. And again, thanks for all the support. I'll be back for Fairy House and Punchtown. I've got some fancies for Fairy House big time, and for Punchtown there's 2 that I've already got lined up that I'm going to go in on. And then I'll be doing some special content over the summer. So please do like, comment and subscribe. I do genuinely appreciate all the support. I wish you all the best of luck. Let me know in the comments the ones that you fancy, and I will see you soon.